Atlanta, Georgia. The HBCU football capital hosts the Cricket MEAC-SWAC Challenge on August 24th. Florida A&M Rattlers, Norfolk State Spartans, SWAC versus MEAC. The rivalry is real. Come out to Center Park Stadium to see the returning HBCU national champions and two of the best HBCU bands in the land, the Marching 100 and the Spartan Legion. The day starts with a kickoff fan experience tailgate and concludes with a primetime matchup on ABC. For more information, visit MEAC-SWACChallenge.com.
We're going to Florida, and we're going to bring you back a victory to Jackson. Yeah. God to y'all!
What you say now, Chuck? Man, you a plumb fool, man.
Finally, the Rattlers are returning to the A, the Atlanta, city of Atlanta, home of championship dreams and caviar wishes. It's time for football season. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the O&G StrikeZone. Bryan Fulford and Kelvin Rozier. And as you can see, we are plumb fool excited because it is football season, it's volleyball season. The long wait is over. Being in the desert with some of y'all who out there ain't won a damn thing over the past 8 months. Well, now it's time. It is time for the Rattlers to show out and show up. Kelvin, how you feeling, man? You're on mute. You're on mute. I'm not hearing you. Hold on. I'm not hearing Kelvin. Why aren't I hearing Kelvin? Kelvin, are you here? I'm not hearing you. Why aren't I hearing you?
What about now?
Oh, there we go. See, you probably had a great intro, and it's like, go ahead. Hold on. I'm going to redo the show. Let's restart the show. I had that great setup. Anyway, go ahead. Restate what you were saying, Kelvin. I know it's probably exciting. Go ahead.
No, man. I am excited, man. I'm going to Atlanta. I'm leaving tomorrow because I get to watch all my favorite teams this weekend, right?
Uh-oh.
So I'm going to watch the Braves tomorrow. I'm going to watch the Falcons on Friday. And then I get to watch my Rattlers on Saturday, man. So I am ecstatic. I'm on sports overload.
Man, there's no better time to be in the A. I really wanted to do a similar thing. I really wanted to roll into Atlanta in the same similar fashion. But alas, I'm gonna have to. I'll settle with jumping in and getting in town sometime Friday midday or afternoon, and then we'll kind of go from there. So welcome to the O&G StrikeZone. Bryan Fulford, Kelvin Rozier, and none other than our guy Marcus Green. Marcus Green, woo! Sliding on in. Hey. I got nothing but love for you, baby.
Eddie Kane Jr., y'all.
Marcus, how you doing, my man? What's good with you? How you feeling?
Oh, man. Gonna hop the plane tomorrow morning. We'll be back in the crib. And then gonna see the Rattlers play on Saturday. So I'm doing great.
Hey, it's always a good thing. Look, the last time the O&G all got together in one site, I think it was the A, wasn't it? Was it the A?
Yep.
It was.
It was the A back in December. So you all who are in Atlanta, you will get a chance to see all of us live and in person together. I don't know what one spot outside of the game we will be, but we will be somewhere all together in one spot. So make sure you're following the O&G StrikeZone on Facebook, on X, on Instagram, our YouTube channel. Of course, we're part of the Black College Sports Network right here on the Jericho Broadcast Networks. And so we say hello to everybody joining us for this show. It's game week, 2 days away from the start of the volleyball season, 3 days away from the start of the FAMU football season. And we are covering both aspects of that on today's show. Coming up at the bottom of hour one, we get to say welcome home to the two-time SWAC Volleyball Player of the Year, who's now an assistant coach, none other than the Queen, Miss Dominique Washington. She will be joining us at the bottom of the hour.
Okay.
Maybe.
And I'm so nervous now. And then at the top of hour two, as we get ready to break down this FAMU Norfolk State game in the MEAC-SWAC Challenge in Atlanta, Georgia, we will have what we always like to do the last couple of years is we've had guests from our opposing teams come on the show to give you guys a good perspective of their side of the ball. So for Mike Ely, a.k.a. Spartan Head, from those of you who are familiar with the MEAC fans board, he will come on at the top of hour one to really give us – look, they're making news, man. Norfolk State is making news this week just like we are. So we will get a chance to talk to him and get that perspective from the other side of the ball, as we like to do. And then, of course, we got a lot of news and notes to talk about regarding this season. So, before we get into that, we always like to say the hellos. Let me kind of get a couple of things here squared away that I didn't previously, and we will say hello to the family that's joining us in the EA. Don't start. EA already started. But I tell you what. Want to encourage any and everybody who would like to donate to the show. You can do so in a couple of different ways. That Cash App there at the bottom. You can donate $MyJBN, MyBCSN is how you can donate. Or if you happen to be watching the show on our Jericho Broadcast Networks page, you can donate in two different ways. You could always drop a super chat in the feed, or you can come on and play a bigger role in what we do in the Black College Sports Network and join the YouTube channel. Join our YouTube channel there on JBN, and we'll be doing some exclusive things for members. Promise we will. Some merchandise, all kinds of good stuff will be coming up soon. So want to encourage and say thank you to everybody who does support and is a supporter, and we could always use some more. So the collection plate is out here in the first segment, so y'all go ahead and feel free to drop a bucket, a dollar or two, if you can, when you can. All right, so let's go ahead and say hello to the family who's jumping in via the chat. Jimmy Mack has jumped in. I believe Jimmy Mack, one of the newer subscribers to our JBN channel. So thank you, Jimmy, for joining us.
Woo!
Exactly. Exciting times indeed. There's Kelvin jumping in, saying hello to everybody.
Whoa, way to go, Kelvin.
Bull checking in. All right.
What's up, Bull?
Amen. Good to see you, Bull. Thanks for coming in as well. He's ready. Ken checking in. Good to see you, Ken.
What's up, Ken?
My brother checking in. That's right. And another one checking in. Checking in. All right. Coach Ferrasi Norman coming in. Appreciate Coach. Hopefully you guys got a chance to check out the BCSN Sports Wrap on Sunday. Coach did a great job filling in for me once I caught my plane out of Norfolk after I did a little bit of scouting. And I can say, fellas, there was not a bit of news prior to. Now, remember, I was in Norfolk on Sunday, so the news that hit on Monday hadn't dropped yet. But trust me, it was quiet in Norfolk about the game. I don't even know if they knew the game was happening, to be honest with you. So, yeah, so that's just kind of what was going on there. Demetra Offer, we say hello to you. Let's see. I agree, Tony. 10 in, 4 likes. Let's get those likes up. Appreciate you, Tony, for spotting that out. Gail checking in. Appreciate you, Gail, checking in from
What's up, Gail?
Cleveland, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Might be anywhere. Marcus, a JBN
Macon's
subscriber.
finest.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Macon's finest.
All right. Marvin Allen. Hello, Marvin.
Duval.
Yeah. Meredith checking in. Hey, Meredith.
850.
Another JBN subscriber. Appreciate you, Meredith. Ezekiel Love checking
What's
in.
up,
That's
Zeke?
right. Time to beat down on Norfolk State. Indeed. Mary 305. Hey, Mary.
Hey, Auntie.
Ron Jab Williams. All right.
What's up,
Raptors.
Jab?
Appreciate you checking in. Little baby coming in. Good to see you, little
What's
baby.
up, big little baby?
Chuck Hunt
Tennessee.
checking in from
Nashville.
Monroe, Louisiana. Exactly.
Hello.
Appreciate you coming in. Hollow, always. James Austin checking in. He's already in the A. He's already there. We coming there. We coming.
He excited.
We
set the
coming.
stage.
We coming, James. Hold it down. Don't tear the city up before we get there. Montre Bennett in the house.
What up, Montre?
Hey, good to see you. Sam Gilbert.
What's up, Sam?
From Albany. Man. Let's see. EA said.
EA. He took the picture. You got him. It was him.
I did not take the picture. No, that was not me, EA. Go on somewhere with that foolishness. Tamara T, thank you for being a JBN subscriber. All right. Good to see you. My BCSN brother, AD Drew, checking in.
What's up, Drew?
Amen. Good to see you. JT. What's good, JT?
JT.
All right. Rick Kinsey checking in.
Mr. Rattler, congratulations.
Amen.
Looking forward to your induction.
All right. Yes, indeed.
And the golf team appreciates you, and we appreciate you for all you do for FAMU.
Amen. Watch JD TV. Big Snake Energy, indeed.
What's up, JDT?
Good to see Ashley Coleman. Fang Exchange.
What's up, Fang Exchange?
Great job today in the 220 Club. Great job, Ashley, for checking in with the 220 Club today. If you guys missed it, go check our Twitter feed. We did retweet it from earlier this afternoon. 220 Club, of course, Coach Cozy was in the building. Ashley was there, and it was good stuff. So we'll talk about fundraising. Interesting article that came out by Gerald Thomas, GT3. Earlier in the week regarding a fundraising group that I wasn't honestly aware of, but it brings up an interesting question that I think we all need to ask ourselves about where we're going, where we're heading. Dwayne Sweet checking in. What up, Sweet?
What's up, Duval?
Thank you for being a JBN subscriber, Sweet. B Starks, another JBN subscriber. Thank you as well.
What's up, B Starks?
Exactly. The boss checking in. Another Rattler.
What's up, Roy?
I want to remind everybody about our Friday event. Hold on, let me make sure, speaking of which, let me make sure I have the graphic up. Do I have the graphic? All right, so while the boss is in the building, so I want to remind everybody, there's the info. Hold on, let me get the thing out of the way there, because that kind of detracts from it a little bit. I want to remind everybody, coming up on Friday, we will be doing a BCSN Game Time Live pre-show right next to the stadium at Bullpen Ribs and Barbecue, 4 o'clock to 7 p.m. Okay, now I'm supposed to be there. I'm praying that if I get out the house in time, I will be there for this. I promise. Kelvin, Marcus, hopefully they will be there as well. I'm putting that on them live on the air. But anyway, you can come over 4 p.m. to 7. Obviously Bullpen Ribs and Barbecue. I mean, when I say Pollard Boulevard is right next to the stadium. Literally, you can stand in the parking lot and throw a rock, if you have a good arm, and hit the side of Center Park Stadium. That's how close we will be on Friday. And then, of course, go hit all the other tailgates. I know there's a lot of stuff going on, right? So we hopefully have our tailgate, our pre-show set up at a good time that works with your schedule. So, come on down into the area. I'll make sure to flash this up a few more times during the show, so that way, people know about it. Blah blah blah. All right. Let me see. Going through the comments. Hey, Dr. Lori checking in.
What's up,
Doc's in
Doc?
the building, in the studio. Appreciate you, Doc. She's on the prowl in the chats. Appreciate you. Mike Reed checking in. Hey, I got some good. Man, I'm okay. You guys are all hitting me in. I'm gonna get all the promos out of the way here early here. Let me see. Where's my graphic here? Because Mike informed me. What was it? A couple hours ago, guys. I know you guys got it. It was a couple hours ago. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. The magic of multitasking here. Let me see. Take that off the screen. Let me see. Okay.
Good. While you're doing that,
I
good to see Road Dogg in Tampa. I went and got my hat. Rattler Nation showed out, man. I mean, it was a beautiful thing. We had a whole section of Rattlers with our orange hats at the Rays game. And so,
I saw that, man. You guys look really good. You look really good.
It was
Did you happen to secure an extra hat?
It was awesome, man.
Did you get an extra hat, by the way? No extra hat. All right.
No,
anyway.
No extra hat.
Okay. All right. That's all right. That's all right.
They were sold out.
Hey, Mike Reed informed me that we are down to about a dozen, maybe less than a dozen, because he sent a text out about a couple hours ago. We're down to about a dozen seats left in the club level section here. So if you still have not purchased tickets, go to justlookingout.com. Let Mike know you're interested. Use the strike code there. Use the code StrikeZone and let him know that's how you heard about it. Again, these are what the seats look like. We have, I heard that we have sold out our section, which we all knew we would, and we've sold out many other sections in this stadium. But that section right there, club level, is where we will be, or where you can buy tickets. Obviously, not us. We won't be there because we'll all be in the press box area. But you all, along with Mike Reed, my family will be there. So, by the way, if you happen to recognize,
mine too. At least one member of my oldest daughter will be in that.
All right, Marcus, your family gonna be in that section?
Yeah, my wife is.
All right. So, you know what? Hey, we ought to have a contest. Anybody can figure out and take a selfie with either my people, Kelvin's people, or Marcus's people. We might have a gift for you. But you got to, when you take the selfie, you have to do what? You have to tag O&G StrikeZone. All right. Or you have to tag us as well. So a little contest. If you are sitting in that section and you see my people, Kelvin's people, and they're not gonna wear shirts that say, my husband, my family is on the. No, you just got to figure it out. All right. So you just be on the lookout for our people in that section. So you come join us. There's the info again. $79 per person. A great opportunity there. Appreciate you, Mike Reed, for making all that possible for everybody. Okay. Got to get a couple more here, and then we got to get into the news and notes here quickly. Alice McCullough checking in. Good to see you, Alice. Will Davis. Good to see you, Will. My man, Dexter Martin checking in. Good to see you, Dex. Erlene Taylor Ely checking in. Good to see you. Thank you for checking in. Let me see. Anybody else I left off that you might see, fellas? Hold on. What is this? I'm gonna start this note here from EA. Not really sure. Whatever. Jen's P checking in. Good to see you, Jen. All right. All right. What's that?
Oh, I took it. What you start?
Oh, just a little reminder. I saw a question in there from EA or something in there that I saw. All right. So, look, we knew it was game week. I think many of us had kind of look. You had to know. You had to know that we were going to get this announcement when we got it. But there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. Oh man. All kinds of issues today. All right, let's see if I can get it right. There we go. Our QB1 for the start of the 2024 season is none other than Daniel Richardson, QB1, the transfer from Florida Atlantic University. Kelvin and I both kind of predicted and thought this would be the guy.
Drew did too.
Ago. Oh, who did? Drew?
Yeah.
Drew. Marcus, did you have a prediction or an angle on this? Obviously, this guessing game by all of us.
Not really.
No.
I thought Junior might have been a nudge ahead just from familiarity, but
before I ask you guys anything that you've heard from Coach over the last couple of days in the obviously the press conference, obviously they did the coaches show Monday night. He had the 220 club today. So I'll come to you guys with anything you might have heard as to why he made the decision. But just to let people know some of the career stats by Daniel Richardson. And if you look at these career stats, what I see when I look at his last 3 full seasons. Now, again, 2023, he was at Florida Atlantic University. 2022 and 21, he was playing at Central Michigan University. Pretty much started the entire season at his previous 3 years. And so you can kind of see last year at FAU, what impressed me the most was the completion percentage, the 65%. Now, I know a lot of people made a lot of notes about the 10 interceptions to 13 touchdowns. And okay, granted, I get it. But that was sort of an aberration, I think. If you look at the 2 previous years at Central Michigan, he just threw 5 interceptions against 23 and 15 touchdowns in those seasons. And still, you know, the 1 year he had a completion percentage of 61. The other one's about 56. So, you know, I think there's a lot of positives in Daniel Richardson being the starter, coming in with the experience. What were some of the takes or things you heard, or what's just your general thoughts? I'll come to you, Kelvin, and then go to you, Marcus.
Well, Coach flat out said, you know, before, you know, this in the spring, he said, you know, him being a defensive coach, he was concerned about not turning the ball over and what quarterback was going to protect the ball. And then the 220 club today, he reiterated that during fall camp, he thought that Daniel did a better, you know, a little slightly better. It wasn't a huge difference, but a slightly better job of protecting the ball. So that was his deciding factor. I still think all that playing experience at the FBS level got to count for something too, though. And the fact that Junior's been there and Daniel just getting there and it was close. You know, if he didn't take advantage of it and it was that close, I get it. But he also said that Junior will play. In spite of saying to us that, you know, he wasn't going to do 2 quarterbacks, he did acknowledge today that at some point in the game, the plan is to play Junior. So best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm. Your thoughts there, Marcus, and he's not 5'8", Chuck. He's actually 5'10". So let's not make him that short. You know, go ahead, Marcus.
Well, I guess very similar to Kelvin. Even through spring camp, he was saying about turnovers, and that was going to be a deciding factor. So he's been consistent in that. And I wasn't sure to what degree, you know, looking at the stats and the 23 career turnovers, you know, how much of that was coming into play in terms of how Richardson was performing in camp. Of course, before preseason camp and spring camp, of course, we can't see it or we have very limited views. But, you know, the experience, I mean, you can't beat that. And I also think, and even though he wasn't here in 2021, Coach Colsey, Junior had at least 2 opportunities to kind of gain the confidence with the Fort Valley game after he subbed in for McKay after the OBC in 2021, and then last year against Lincoln of California. And it wasn't a resounding performance against non-D1 competition. Mm-hmm. So as a true freshman, you can say, okay, maybe he wasn't ready to start, and, you know, he's filling in McKay. But last year in 2023, as a redshirt sophomore and having been in the system 3 years, you would have hoped and expected a little more productivity and confidence against a fledgling FCS team, and it just wasn't there. So I don't know how much of a role that played. So those are like 2 data points that may or may not have impacted the decision. But you got to go with who you have confidence in and who's going to turn it over fewer times, especially given what we believe could be the makeup of the team or the offensive identity of the team, where we're heavy on the defense. Then we look stacked at the running back and O-line and looking for someone who's not going to make mistakes.
Isn't it interesting to hear? This is, I think, the difference that we can already glean from having a head coach that comes with a defensive background versus, I think, the offensive-minded coach that we had the last few years, is that hearing Colsey talk about how he wanted to make sure he had a quarterback who took care of the ball more. And also, I think I heard him say in the 220 Club, one of the things that he really is putting an emphasis on this year is reducing the amount of penalties. I mean, last year, FAMU, we led the SWAC. I think we were one of the leaders in the nation.
No, we led the nation.
Okay.
We led the nation. We reverted back to what it was 2021 or 2022 form, and I have that in my season preview where we were basically dead last at FCS in penalties in terms of penalties per game.
Yeah. So
penalty yards per game.
Yeah, the penalty yards, the number of penalties and penalty yards. I think we were top. So being able to not make mental mistakes. I mean, look, we talked about that a lot. I mean, we did what we did, and there were a lot of self-inflicted wounds where we took points off the board for ourselves, and maybe we took ourselves out of scoring opportunities and just many things that we could have probably averaged another 14 points a game had we not had the number of mistakes. So
that's a great jump, but I knew we left at least 2 TDs on the under the yellow flag in the OBC, because I think both of them were holding calls on passes to K-Dot. I don't remember about the rest of the game, but I remember those were 2 that got called back because of holding.
Yeah, so I find it a little refreshing, and that's what you get when you have a change in coaching. That's often what you get, and I think it's interesting, should be celebrated, which sort of leads me. I know we'll talk about this a little later in the show, but it leads me to a thought process when we think about percentages of run, pass, and things of that nature. We've kind of speculated we might run more this year. I think it's very likely we run more, or a combination of using quick passes and then letting our receivers, and maybe being less focused on throwing down the field as much. So just a thought there. So let me see.
Yeah,
also,
kind of doing my preview a little bit, but we did even last year, and I've been tracking it in terms of like the percent play call. We had 49%. I mean, it's very slight, but 49% pass versus run. So a very slight tilt towards the run game, very similar to what we had in 2021 when we had Rashawn McKay and Bishop Bonnet. We weren't over 50% passing based on the number of pass attempts versus rush attempts.
Right. Another thing that kind of came out this week, and I don't want to get too deep in the woods. I don't know, Marcus, did you happen to catch Kelvin's note? Are we confirmed for the second later in this hour, or are we where are we on that thing? I don't know if you want to check the chat message there, but I will bring up.
No, I hadn't gotten any confirmation. No response.
Okay. All right then. We'll put it in the etherverse, in the universe then, and maybe it'll happen. But we hope that happens. Let's do this. Let's take a short break, and then come back on the other side and kind of break down a little bit more. We either get more into the depth chart, which also came out early this week. A few surprises there, which had some people like, really? So we'll talk about the depth chart on both sides of the ball, and if we have our our coach, Dominique Washington, at the bottom of the hour. We will come in with her. If not, we'll definitely get into talking about the preview of the 2024 volleyball season, which starts on Friday. Hang in there with us. You're watching the O&G StrikeZone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up message quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
This is Bryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Live from Atlanta, Georgia, the HBCU football capital hosts the Cricket MEAC-SWAC Challenge on August 24th. Defending HBCU national champion Florida A&M Rattlers versus the Norfolk State Spartans. For more information, visit MEAC-SWACchallenge.com.
All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Bryan, Marcus, Kelvin, good to be here with you all. I'm going to apologize early to anybody who might have been watching on our Facebook page. I don't know why in the hell Facebook, I don't know if I over promoted something early on in the show, but somehow the Facebook page is acting up for our O&G Strike Zone page, but we are streaming on the Facebook Black College Sports Network channel. So I don't know how the algorithms are working these days on Facebook, but that's why we're in multiple places. That's why we're streaming on YouTube. That's why we're streaming on X, streaming on Instagram. We try to be in as many places as where the people are. So hopefully, to any of our family who might have been watching on Facebook, we apologize that you got bumped off, but I don't know. I'll try to figure out what's happening there. Let me see. Any other questions that have come up here during the? You guys happen to catch anything in the chats? Okay, let's kind of go to some other interesting news and nuggets that kind of came out of the depth chart being released. And I think it's really interesting when we take a look at this group right here. this running back group right here. I think what was most fascinating when you look at this group is that obviously, friend of the program, Kelvin Dean, the Celebration Bowl offensive MVP. Of course, those of you make sure who are in Tallahassee, go ahead and go to your Krispy Kreme and ask for the Dean dozen. Shout out to Kelvin Dean. But the starting running back for week 1 will be old graphic. Will be
OPG.
old graphic. Will be this young man who we had the pleasure of interviewing a couple years ago when he was, a recruit getting ready to come to FAMU, and that is none other than Bo Somerset. Bo Somerset, the redshirt freshman, 5'10", 190. He got the call. He will be RB1, most likely taking the first snap on day 1. Kelvin Dean listed as the backup, followed by Thad Franklin Jr. Behind him. And so as we look at that, any surprises there? Did that really surprise you? Or if you were listening intently, you kind of had an idea this might be happening? What do you take on that, Kelvin?
Yeah, if you watch the quarterback club, when Coach Wyndham, the running back coach, was on there, he actually emphasized that if that day, I think that was about 2 weeks ago, he emphasized if he had to name a starter that day, that the redshirt freshman would be a starter. And then as we talked with him 2 years ago on the show when he was coming out of high school, I mean, you got to remember, he's a kid that had Power 5 offers. I mean, he had offers from Miami and Nebraska's, and so he was that dude. I mean, he had like 3-4 years of production at Norfolk Myers, if I remember correctly. So, and as well as he played basketball, and his basketball team ended up being pretty decent too while he was there. So we knew he's a player. And you saw often last year, he was being redshirted, but you would see him working out and all that good stuff. So no, does it surprise me? Not really. And Coach Colsey said today, depending on the formations that they start out, it may be somebody else, but no, the man is putting the work. He had the most explosive play in the spring game from a running back, where he took it about 60 yards, and then we've been hearing a lot about him during the fall camp. So we got talent, buddy.
What do you got to add to that, Marcus?
Just kind of stockpiling. If you look at the last few years, just in the running back position, we've been stocked. I think what was it, 2022, where we had a lot of injuries, like early in the season. But since 2021, starting with Bishop Bonnet, there's just been at least one person come out of the backfield that's really put a stamp on the season. And I'm also glad that a friend of the program, Bo, and also someone who is a high school recruit has made a breakthrough, because I know we've had a lot of emphasis. There's been a lot of articles and even a lot of our past recruiting with the seismic shift in the transfer portal and all the collegiate free agency going on. But to see someone that we recruited out of high school come in and get a starting position, I think bodes well, not only for us, but HBCUs, but especially for FAM, having received so many transfers the last few years, and transfers who did well and performed. And just having someone from high school come in and do that as well, or a high school recruit, not directly from high school, but a high school recruit come in and do that, I think provides Coach Colsey some counterattack if there's any negative recruiting on the trail as it relates to high school guys, and FAMU only takes transfers.
I just was scrolling through and looking at the rushing stats from a year ago, when we essentially had our three main backs, Jennings, Dean, and Jaquez Yant, right? Jennings, of course, had 120 attempts, Dean 73 attempts, Yant 89 attempts. So I think it's very likely that, Dean and Somerset probably both have definitely over 75 to 80 attempts over the course of the season. And who knows, if we are more of a run-based team. Now, I think what also will be interesting to see how many attempts we get from Richardson, because he has the ability to run, and I think that's in his repertoire. So that's another back that, obviously will take carries away. But look, I mean, running backs are at their best when they're freshest. Yeah. So if, like you said, if we have 2 to 3 quality backs cycling in, that can't be a bad thing. Cannot be a bad thing. It's better to have more running backs than fewer running backs. And I think we have a good line this year. And so I think Somerset and Dean could well rush over 500 yards each, and I guess it'll come down to, who has maybe the bigger games in order to see whether that number gets up there. But, I don't think we're going to rely on one guy. I guess that's what I'm really saying.
Nope.
Yeah. Looking at some of the comments, EA talking. Now, is the kid from Miami, is that Franklin? That's who, EA was saying.
He started at Miami and went to University of Louisiana Monroe, and then came to us.
Okay. What about Kev from Tally is talking about Wicks? I didn't see Wicks on the depth chart. Any? I'm looking.
He just got there.
Okay, he just got there.
Yeah,
that's the running back from ODU.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's number 26 in that graphic that you showed. He's the one on the far. I guess that would be the far left as you're looking at it.
Okay. So that's so Wicks. Wicks is Wicks. You can see right there to the far left. 23 is going from left to right. That's Wicks, and then you got Franklin. Then you got, of course, Dean's number 9. 28. I don't. Who do we have as 28 there?
Collier.
Okay.
Collier. Yeah, he's the one. He came in from JUCO, but he's legacy Rattler. I think his grandfather played for FAM.
Okay. And then, of course, you've got Somerset, number 20, and then 34.
I think it was Rashad Quinn.
He
was on the squad last year. Very fast.
Okay.
He had a couple good spring practice runs last year, 2023.
Okay. Good stuff. Okay. Moving over to the wide receiver positions. We already knew Jamari Gassett. We'd heard and knew he was going to be starting. He's in the Z position. Ace Cobb is going to get the start in the X spot. He's a redshirt sophomore, 6'3", 195. And then Jalen Rogers, the 5'10" sophomore, he will be in the F spot. For people who might not be familiar, Kelvin or Marcus, break down who are some names that who have been in those slots for people who aren't familiar.
Go ahead, Marcus.
I guess it says X. Did you say X, Z, and F?
Yeah, X, Z, and F. So X is Ace Cobb, the F is Jalen Rogers, and the Z is Jamari Gassett.
See.
I don't have my depth chart.
I'm trying to guess between Xavier Smith. Yeah, I don't have one either. Or we know if we're looking at spots, Xavier Smith, looking at Marcus Riley. So typically, I guess the X is out wide. So it could be one or the other, either Riley or someone like gosh, I can't think of his name. My homeboy from Decatur. Dang, can't think of his name right now. I'm playing out wide, and then
any surprises? Some of the backup names you got: Marquez Bell, the grad transfer, playing behind Cobb; Quan Lee, playing behind Rogers. And then Goldie Lawrence, a redshirt freshman, playing behind Gassett.
we have depth. I'll say that, and we have different kind of receivers, right? So we got speed, we got guys who are good in open field, and then you got some long guys like Cobb. And you got to remember, Cobb, has experience playing with your starting quarterback, so there's some chemistry there.
It's a
So
great point.
I'm really interested to see. You got to remember this offense has been going against the best defense they're gonna see probably all year, outside of maybe UM. So we hadn't got to the offensive line yet, but the size and the depth of our team, I expect to make a difference in the second half against everybody we play, not named the Hurricanes. And so I think we have talent, and we have a lot of depth in the right positions. We just got to see it all come together, what it looks like. That's the real question mark, as well as coaching adjustments, because we just don't know that part of it. But on paper, this game we should be able to create some separation at some point. But you just don't know. NSU Norfolk State gonna be hungry. They playing a new quarterback too. They do have some returning players that are all MEAC, so it's gonna be interesting. But I just honestly, man, I really think we're set up, and I just hope we play up to our, what our standard is.
The tight end and
back to the receivers.
Okay.
I was looking at because I was getting them confused. Jalen, we have two Jalens, Jalen Rogers and Jalen Ward. And I see Jalen Rogers. He's at the F
Ward is
spot.
defensive back, right?
No,
he's a wide receiver transfer from Middle Tennessee.
Okay,
right.
I know we got about 3 or 4 Jalen's on the doggone team, so I'm like, yeah.
And I was just looking at it, and when I first saw it, I saw Jalen Rogers. He's the speedster. I think he came from Tulane, but I want to say he's from either Miami Northwestern or one of the schools in Dade County. And I thought it was the other Jalen, because he's a little bigger. He's like 6'2", 6'3". This one, Jalen Rogers, I think is more like 5'9", 5'10", but fast. And so I thought I had him mixed up when I was looking at the wide receiver depth chart. But he made a starting position, so he got speed and height starting at the on the inside and outside. So you got Cobb and Jamari Gass is not super big. So you got two speedsters and one guy who can run fast, but he's got a little bit more height to him.
And you saw what Kev from Tally pointed out, that Rogers is actually faster than Marcus Riley. So that's pretty interesting.
Oof,
that's definitely. Okay, the tight end position, interesting. Now coming in, we thought, we had been talking about Jeremiah Pruitt, Kobe Gross, Carter Johnson, the grad transfer coming in. He's listed as the starting tight end, with Pruitt as the H-back, and then Gross behind him. Marcus, remind people about Carter Johnson. Where's he coming from?
It's a grad transfer from University of Pittsburgh. And I think early reports either from Gerald and the TDO or others said, he's just about his business. He's kind of quiet, doesn't say a whole lot. I think even Coach Colsey reiterated it, that he just comes in doing things. So that was a surprise to me, that not, reflecting anything on his talent or what he brings, but that he would be elevated to the starting tight end spot, given that.
We got two grad.
Given that Kobe Gross has been here, I guess on year 3, because I think his first year was 2022 when we played UNC. And I think even Jeremiah Pruitt came the year before. So, but then, if you have those two at the H-back, like it's listed in the depth chart, then you have an opportunity for even more size mismatches.
But still, I mean, this is a big group, man. Carter is 6'3", 250. Pruitt is 6'5", 225. And, of course, Gross is 6'2", 238. And so, we're familiar with Pruitt and Gross. And so seeing Johnson come in, just adding more depth and excitement there to the tight ends. And, I mean, Kelvin, we saw those guys at the fan day. There's some big dudes. Hey.
They gonna win a t-shirt contest.
Yes, indeed. I feel for any linebacker stuck covering
and the
those
one
guys.
that's
Good luck
and the
to
one
them
that's not shown is the other transfer. The other transfer we got from Central Michigan, I believe it's Central Michigan.
That's right. The 6'8" guy. What?
Evans, Jamari Evans from Samari Evans. He's like 6'7", 260, 270 at least based on the last thing. So I wasn't sure. I didn't know if they were, because he played, at least coming out of high school, played tight end and defensive end. So I didn't know if he got switched or if he's just additional depth. But I mean, they could put some monsters at the tight end and H-back position if they wanted to. If they just want to go 3 tight ends, they could just punish people.
Yeah.
All right, getting to the offensive line. A lot of names that we knew, right? This is why there's a lot of optimism and excitement. And, a lot of people, who don't know, you don't know what you don't know, and it's fine.
Correct.
Okay. But starting at center, Cesar Reyes, grad 6'5", 305, who I believe was, correct me if I'm wrong, was hurt last year, but had played previously, yes?
Yes. Well,
he got hurt.
He played last year. He got hurt in the North Carolina game 2 years ago. He was starting against them. He got hurt, and he was lost for that whole season.
Gotcha.
But he played some last year. Yeah.
Right. And then we've got, of course, Jalen Goss, left tackle. Ashton
missed last
Grable,
year.
Left guard.
He missed last year. He got hurt, but he's a 2022 SWAC and first team All-American as well as a FCS All-American. So yeah,
that's the left side, and then on the right side, the right guard is T.J. Lee. We're all familiar with T.J. Lee, and then Elijah Felipe is the right tackle, 6'7", 300 on the right tackle size.
So if you do that math of that starting offensive line, they average right at 6'5", at about 303 pounds, somewhere around there.
Right.
It's a big, long offensive line. And let me tell you, when the second string come in, they don't get no smaller.
No, they don't. Good size there in the second string guys. And you know what's and I know, look, people will talk about and mention Richardson's size. Folks, look, we've seen in our lifetime 2 Heisman Trophy winners at his side, maybe more, but the 2 that come to mind, one played right in Tallahassee when we were while we were in college, or right thereafter, Charlie Ward, and then the other still playing in the pros for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield. I mean, I mentioned guys like Kyler Murray. I mean, come on, people, look. Get over this thing about the size. 5'10", when he's done what he's done for the last 3 years, he will be all right with a big offensive line in front of him. And yes, I saw someone even point out that he had one of the fastest receivers that he threw to last year, who EA pointed out. Yes, he had one of the fastest wide receivers in the country last year at FAU. So he knows how to work with speed. He will be okay. He will be all right. So
no, he won't. Let them think what they want to think.
Let
me just add, he got 2 state of Florida championships too at Central. The man has played against the best since high school, and he played as a freshman in high school. So I'm extremely confident that when he comes on the field Saturday, he won't have too many nerves. He's been there, done that. He's that dude.
Right. More famous names. Exactly. Tommy Frazier, Cordell Stewart, your boy Johnny, Bryce Young. So relax, people. Relax. I'll say relax for the people who want to make that about a size thing. You can hit them with those names.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
the play on the field is going to determine it anyway. So
Exactly. All right, jumping over to the defensive side of the ball with the depth chart. The upfront starters, of course, those of you who may not be familiar, we run a what is it? A
4-2-5.
4-2-5, correct? So with the 4-2-5, on the defensive end, you've got Davian Westmoreland, who's a grad student, 6'4", 255. On the other side, on the end, in the Fang position, that's Alan Smith Jr., who we talked to Alan at the Fan Day. Alan Smith, 6'3", 230, every bit of it, no doubt. And then in the middle, this is where I'm really excited about these two dudes. James Ash, the grad student, 6'3", 275, and Cameron Donald, 6'1", 300, the grad students. Any comments, or before we move off the front four, what's your thoughts on this front four, guys?
Well, coach has talked a lot about. I mean, I don't think he's done an interview and not mentioned Moreland, Westmoreland. So, and of course, Big Ash, his experience coming back, and Alan Smith. And our defense has, frankly, gotten better at the offense most of the time during fall camp. We still running the same schemes. We got a new defensive coordinator calling the scheme, but he's been there. And by all accounts, we know our back end is very strong. I think, in the middle, in terms of linebackers, the starters are there. But I do know we got at least one guy who might be a little banged up and another one that's probably out. But overall, the defense, the standard is the standard, as Smitty Rock always said. And where we separate from all the other teams, all these other folks predicted doom and gloom about us being back to the pad because because coach is not there. Well, we won not because of offense last year. We won because of defense, and the Dark Cloud defense. Is a championship program. Those guys have a lot of pride, and I expect more of the same, frankly.
Marcus, want to add anything here before I move into the linebackers and secondary?
No, I'd still wish we had one or two more defensive linemen, especially developmental. But other than that, I mean, they're looking to continue what they've been doing the last few years since, especially since 2021. Just making sure the defensive line is stout and causing problems across the board for the other opposing offense.
And I will say, when you look at the two deep and just the experience, I mean, we've got 4-year or more. I mean, you've got a couple of seniors, you got a couple of redshirt juniors. There's no like freshmen. You talk about wanting more development guys, but look, that front, the top 8 guys, the two deep, I mean, those are veteran experience players. Mm-hmm. So
yes,
yeah. So I think that bodes well for what we got up front.
Well, that's our team in general. The guys we brought in, and Coach talked about it, the philosophy in bringing in transfers was, you wanted guys who come in, contribute right away, compete right away, provide depth right away. So we talked last year about having, around whatever it was, potential players that we were going to lose. And we replaced them with light guys, right? We still got probably 30 plus seniors and grads this year. So yeah, we got some new players, but they're experienced new players too.
Mm-hmm. And you notice a lot of the transfers were hitting the respective position groups that we talked about in the 2023 preview. To echo what Kelvin said, in terms of the team, the groups that were going to get hit hard by graduation, like the defensive line and the wide receivers, where we had a lot of senior experience and people coming off the books and getting their degrees. And then, we had the 2 additional key transfers over the spring that impacted the depth. But Coach Colsey did say in more than one interview that they were looking for folks who had the same characteristics and playing ability and talent as what they lost. And I think they went about going to do that. And we'll see how things transition in on gameplay, but on paper, it looks like they were successful.
The linebackers, the two linebackers in the striker position is now Eric Horn, grad student, 6'2", 225, wearing number 5. And behind him, good friend of the program, Nayron Jenkins, right behind him, getting that backup striker position. The middle linebacker is number 20, Jerome Nichols, the grad transfer, I believe, from Michigan, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
6'2", 225. And Jaron Fox, who the grad transfer, I believe, from Mississippi Valley State, is backing up him. So that's a pretty good group there. All right, the secondary. And who was it that I saw? Was Jimmy Mack in there talking about how much more excited, more confidence about the defensive back room than he has been in years past? Well, here's why. Here's why Jimmy's excited. In the star position, you got Jamil Sanders, a redshirt junior, 6'2", 205. The rover is Andre Powell Jr., a redshirt junior, 5'11", 195. The free safety, Deco Wilson, redshirt senior, who's been he's been on quite a few watch lists. I think was Reese's the latest one.
Mm-hmm.
The Reese's watch list. So Deco has been on the watch list.
Well, that was Bowler, and I thought the Reese's was Bowler and
yes,
and the tight end. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
Pruitt.
Jeremiah Pruitt.
Okay, thanks for correcting me there. But I know Deco, he's been on a few.
Mm-hmm.
He's been definitely receiving a lot of preseason love. Of course, I mean everybody's list is Kendall Bowler, who's back there, the redshirt senior. I mean, I can't think of a list that he has not been on. I saw him tweet out something, so I mean, pretty special for him, and just goes to show all the hard work that he's been putting in, and so that's going to be good. And then the last defensive back, Amare Lee, the redshirt junior, 6', 200. Anything in there, Marcus, that caught your eye when you look at the starters for that secondary unit?
No, once again, kind of a recurring theme. Some a lot of experience back there. A lot of players that made plays down the stretch last year and got some playing time, and so the youth going familiarity. And of course, that was Coach Colsey's position group, so he had a finger on the pulse of who's ready to come in and not lose any drop off in performance.
Yeah. EA said so. The 5-star from Florida State not starting.
Yes, no, that was Demore Tate and Corey Collier. I mean, they were very two highly touted transfers to come in that were 5-star, and I believe 4-star respectively coming out of high school.
Neither on the two deep. Neither on the two deep either. Nope. By the way, when I look at the backups, neither are there.
Hey, a couple of things. I caught that. A couple of things to say. All right, the group is talented. Period. So iron sharpen iron. Then you got to remember, specifically with Tate, he's been away from football for a couple of years. So, I mean, that was high school. I mean, it takes time to get back into the groove and so forth. So, I mean, I don't think that says anything about their talent or anything. It's just, hey, that we talked about. I talked about it. Both on and off air. That our defensive backfield is by far, in my opinion, the best we've had in the last several years, collectively, because they're talented and they're fast and athletic. This is going to be an athletic backfield. I tell you what, be late with the pass if you want to.
Yeah, for some reason I got a feeling we might be making, when we do our bold predictions, we might be throwing in I got a feeling every week somebody on this panel might be throwing in a pick six or two in their bold predictions. It's just a guess, just a wild guess, when I think about it. Okay, moving over to special teams here. Of course, a lot of these names are familiar staples. Let's see, the place kicker, our kicker is Cameron Gillis, backed up by Michael Smith. Our punter, Trey Wilhoit, backed up by Gunnar Trout. The long snapper, I'll tell you what, did you hear Coach Colsey talk about having a experience? I think it was Colsey, or it was either Colsey or Doc. Somebody at the 220 was talking about how great of a long snapper we have. Baylor Payan, I think I'm saying his name right. I'm sorry, Baylor, if I'm saying it right. And Vaughn, we got Vaughn in the chat room, so correct me if you heard this as well. But I heard Coach, or he was, like I said, it was either Colsey or Doc Gamble talking about the long snapper and how we have one of the better long snappers. He felt in the SWAC, so that was a definite plus to have. And so I did take note. You guys who are watching the 220 Club today, Coach Colsey was talking about making sure that our kicking game, especially on kickoffs and the coverage, we're on the same page. And I think we talked about this many a times, whether it be live at the field or on the show, where times we were like, what the hell is going on with our kickoff coverage? Well, apparently what Coach was saying is a lot of times, the coverage was set to go one way, the kick went the other way, and of course you end up with issues. So hopefully that's all been corrected and on the same page.
And I did see that they made some adjustments last year in their schemes. I'm going to put this on wax right now. Kofi would definitely been putting it on wax. I was not a big fan of I understand it, but we ain't playing Dion every week. So, and with the caliber of talent that we have, I know Coach Coles was making a point that when we kicked it down the middle, we got ball return. I mean, if you think about how it had a couple of big returns against us in the Celebration Bowl, but we got out of the lanes and the coverage looked so bad trying to do the angle kicking. I'd rather take my chances. I put best players out there, make sure people stay their lanes and just kick it. And Mike Smith, he talked about it, got a big leg, so probably 50% of the time he's going to kick it out of the end zone anyway. Trying to make him do angle kicks, leave it alone, man. I mean, if you recruited well, man, let the guys play ball and coach them up.
Well said. Appreciate you, Keith, for letting people know in the chat room or wherever you might be watching us. Go and hit that thumbs up or the like button, however and wherever you're watching the show on Facebook or YouTube. Of course, if you're on X, you could just go ahead and retweet the stream. If you're watching us on X, go ahead and hit the retweet button. That's how you can kind of show your support, and you can also hit the like there as well. Okay, the returners, this is speed on speed right here. Of course, Jamari Gassett, the primary kick returner, I think he got mentions on the All-SWAC first team, if I'm not mistaken. He was actually first team punt or kick return and second team wide receiver all preseason SWAC. And then Jalen Rogers is the punt returner. We talked about the speed. So Gassett and Rogers, Alito 1-2. Did we have any? Correct me if I don't think we had a punt or kick return last year. Did we for a touchdown?
Yeah, Marcus Riley in the opening.
The first game.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm testing y'all. I'm testing y'all.
Yeah, I see some of them cats up. I see them in the chats. So yeah, we're gonna do it again too.
No, one thing I'm not surprised at who got selected, but we have some in terms of return game. I don't know how. We have some folks on the sideline that, like, I guess he's a redshirt freshman, Robert Lockhart out of Atlanta, and actually Justin Bostic, another sophomore, I guess a redshirt freshman as well last year. I mean, he had a couple returns either on interceptions or kick returns as a high school senior at Palm Beach Central. So I was kind of looking to see. I didn't know who was all coming back and who the wide receivers were going to be and how they were going to spread it out. But I wasn't sure if I wouldn't have been surprised if they had got put in just to get some playing time and utilize what they showed in high school from a return standpoint, if they had gotten put in those positions. But I'm not, poo-pooing the decision to put Jalen Rogers and Jamari Gassett back there.
Yeah. There's some great, a lot of these players, guys who, we talked about Jaron Fox, right? Right now is on number 2 on the backup linebacker, Phil Steele, preseason All-SWAC first-team player. We mentioned, of course, Gassett was a wide receiver and punt returner, not only on Phil Steele's preseason All-SWAC, but also voted in by the All-SWAC folks. James Ash up front was ranked Hero Sports 19th ranked defensive tackle in the nation. Just to name, that's just some of the things, some of the recognitions that our guys are receiving. Just a few nuggets before we go to our next break. When you look at total transfers, according to the numbers put together here by FAMU Athletics, we have 32 transfers coming into this season, 28 from the FBS level, 4 from FCS, and 12 of the 32 transfers came from Power 4 programs. So when you see that and you see the recognition that we're getting from the preseason, that's why. Plus a strong starting offensive line group, so on and so forth. 67 student athletes on the 24 roster from the state of Florida, with 10 guys being right there in the backyard of Tallahassee, Florida. So just to let you know sort of the makeup of the Rattlers. Okay, well, I think we've got our guests coming up shortly. So obviously, we've a lot of preseason accolades and rankings have been coming in for the Rattlers, but none more important than, now I will say this, as part of the Black College Sports Network, we don't do preseason polls. We don't do preseason. We like to try to wait until the season plays out a little bit, but we can make some bold predictions. And so the Black College Sports Network, if you caught the show on Sunday, AD Drew released the preseason top 5 computer rankings. And we do all our stuff computer ranked. We're not giving polls or opinions. We can give those ourselves. We just go off the numbers and the data. And the numbers and the data for this upcoming season say quite an interesting thing about how this season goes. So take note of the preseason BCSN top 5. Well, maybe it's more of a top 10. And when we come back out of this segment, we'll see if we have our guest, Mike Ely. If not, we can kind of start breaking down a little bit of the Norfolk State side of things, because they made some news over the past few days as well, with some decisions that I don't know if you could say were made for them or they made it themselves. I don't know, whichever one you want to say. But so hang in there. Watch this clip of the preseason BCSN top 10 for the upcoming 2024 season.
All right, y'all. Now it's time for the BCSN top 5. But this year, we're going to give you the preseason top 10. This top 10 is based on the computer algorithms that we have worked on for the last 5 years over at the Black College Sports Network. Once again, this is a computer formula that we have come up with. And this is what the computer says everyone will finish at the end of the season. Coach Chinnisberry leads our number 10 team, the South Carolina State Bulldogs, who finished 5-6 last year, 3-2 the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, expected to pull in 453 points in Coach Berry's first season in Orangeburg. Coming in at number 9, the Tennessee State Tigers. They are led by Eddie George, who finished 6-5 last season, 2-4 in the Big South/Ohio Valley Conference. David Wilson brings in the Morgan State Bears. Last season, they finished 4-6, 3-2 in the MEAC-SWAC Athletic Conference. The computer says they're going to bring in 482 points this season. Coming in at number 7, first-year head coach Cedric Thomas brings in the Alcorn State Braves, who finished 7-4 last year, 6-2 in the Southwestern Conference, and they're expected to bring in 483 points this season. And coming in at number 6, Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. brings in the Alabama State Hornets. Last season, they finished 2-4, 5-3 in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. That was good for second place in the Eastern Division last season.
Atlanta, Georgia. The HBCU football capital hosts the Cricket MEAC-SWAC Challenge on August 24th. Florida A&M Rattlers, Norfolk State Spartans, SWAC versus MEAC. The rivalry is real. Come out to Center Park Stadium to see the returning HBCU national champions and two of the best HBCU bands in the land, the Marching 100 and the Spartan Legion. The day starts with a kickoff fan experience tailgate and concludes with a primetime matchup on ABC. For more information, visit MEAC-SWACChallenge.com.
All right, y'all. Now it's time for the top 5. Remember, once again, these are computer projections. Computer projections. We have ran the numbers. Now let's see what they look like. Coming in at number 5, the Southern Jaguars. They are coached by first-year head coach Terrence Graves. Last season, they were 6-5, 5-3 in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and a projected finish of 535 points. Coming in at number 4, the defending MEAC champion Howard Bison, coached by Larry Scott. They were 6-6 last year, finished 4-1, and are projected to finish with 590 points. Coming in at number 3, the North Carolina Central Eagles. The Eagles made the FCS playoffs last year. They are coached by Trey Oliver. They finished 5-3, 4-1 in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference and projected finish with 612 points. Coming in at number 2 in his second season, Coach T.C. Taylor brings in the Jackson State Tigers. Last season, they finished 7-4, 5-3 in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, looking to bring home 646 points. And the defending champions, Florida A&M University Rattlers, under first-year head coach James Colsey, came in 12-1 last year, 8-0 in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and projected to finish with 667 points. And now, our full top 5 with our next 5 in the hunt. Good luck, everybody, on the 2024 football season.
All right, welcome back to the O&G StrikeZone. Bryan, Kelvin, Marcus here. Real quick, guys, what's your take on that preseason order of finish? What any instant thoughts as you watch that segment?
It is what it is. It's preseason, all right.
It's preseason, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Interesting. I wasn't sure if things were going to turn out the way that they did, but yeah, interesting.
Hey, I like the fact though that I think I was the only HBCU poll, the one that you and Drew do, is the only one that's done strictly through algorithms. It's not like an opinion, human factor in it.
Exactly. And sometimes that opens the door for a lot of criticism. But obviously we have claimed, or we have recognized champions in years when that team didn't win the Celebration Bowl. Jackson State more recently, the year they lost to South Carolina State. Of course, Florida A&M, the year that they did not make themselves eligible by their own accord, by the way. You know what I'm saying? So those kind of things happen. Exactly. EA pointing out the 2019 national champs. Jackson State we recognized them 2 years later in 22, I think it was, or 2 or 3 years later. So it happens when the numbers say what they say. And so, that's kind of that's the reason why we kind of went with that. And plus, Drew and I, who kind of, we kind of look at the computer, and we look at the computers for a number of reasons, and so we always like to come with a different perspective, because there's a lot of polls out there and a lot of things of that nature. So yeah. But anyway, the actual poll, the rankings that we do, they don't start until after about week 4. So we like to let the first month of the season play out, where you kind of get those FBS games out of the way and some of those BS games out of the way. You get those out of the way, and then you can really get into the meat of things. By the time October comes around, you really get a judge of who people are, because inevitably in somebody's poll, somebody is ranked really high or higher than they probably should be, and somebody is ranked lower than they should be. So, but that's the nature of the poll. Real quick before we go to our guest who's waiting in the green room, the just so that we don't get confused with that other green that might be in the stadium, and we say might because we understand 75% of that stadium is going to be one particular color. So the athletic department has called for it to be an orange out. So make sure we wear orange. Let's not get it confused. We don't want any confusion in that place. We want to see as much orange in the building as possible. So there it is. Make sure to get your orange out, your hats, your shirts, your polos.
Who that in that picture?
Yeah, who is that, by the way? You know that person?
You gonna put your earring in?
Wow. Let me get rid of that. All right, let's go, because see, y'all being messy. Let's go to our guest here to give us the perspective from the Norfolk State Spartans. Is none other than Mike Ely, aka Spartan Head. For those of you who don't remember, or maybe you've forgotten, from our old MEAC fan days. Mike, brother, welcome to the O&G StrikeZone. Thank you for coming in. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me, man. It's a pleasure to be here, and see some familiar faces again, and behold.
Amen. Well, good to have you, man. Let's tell us, before we get into talking about this Norfolk State and FAMU matchup, talk a little bit about kind of what you've been doing, or what you do, how you stay engaged with Spartan Nation and just the HBCU Nation. Of course, the MEAC is not what it used to be back in the day. When we had some great times and some very interesting banter back in the day, but just kind of give people an update on where you're at these days and what you're doing.
Yeah, we had some great banter back when Norfolk State first came into the MEAC. That's how I met a lot of great people, Kev, Decatur G, RTD, Alpha 72. I can just go on and on for a while of the great people that I met from the Rattlers and Wildcats starting the MEAC fan site. And it's been a 20 plus year, I can't explain how great of a relationship it's been. Kev, Mississippi Rattler, and others have come up to Price Stadium when FAMU has played us. I've been down to Bragg when we've played FAMU. I've been to several Florida Classics. Man, I really enjoy the Florida Classic though, and my family and I were planning to come down to the Florida Classic this year, as well, and kind of see a lot of the Rattlers and Wildcats that we haven't seen in a few years. My daughter's grown a great deal, so a lot of us haven't seen her in years.
Right.
Also, I'm coming down for the family reunion of such. I've been pretty busy here. Most knew I was, engineer at British Aeronautical Engineering Systems. It's a private contractor here in Norfolk. I left that position about 4 or 5 years ago. Got a little burnt out. Took some time away. Then jumped into this world of entrepreneurship, and that's been, pretty interesting. And many know I have, my daughter. Well, my son graduated. He played football at Norfolk State. He graduated back in 2012. He had a trial with the Green Bay Packers. Started pretty good. Blew out his knee, and they kind of like the rest was history for that. But he's doing extremely well. Most of all, he graduated from Norfolk State, so I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
My oldest daughter graduated from Norfolk State. Now my youngest daughter, she's coming along. She's, already 6 feet tall. She's a really good swimmer. Just made the 757 elite volleyball team. So she'll be getting a lot of interest from different schools right now. I'm gonna get kind of busy this year getting her out there, getting some HBCUs to know who she is. But right now it's PWIs that are on her real hard. Then also, just stand around Norfolk State, as usual, trying to stay connected, doing what we can to make sure that, we remain one of the top universities, not just in Virginia, but in the world. And I'm trying to get those rankings up there with FAMU. And
yeah.
But man, it's a pleasure to be here. And again, I just can't thank you guys enough for having me. And I'm just overjoyed for seeing some faces I hadn't seen in a while, and just to be here with the Rattlers.
Yes, indeed. And there's definitely a few.
Last time I was with the Rattlers, we beat them. And I don't know if Kev remember that when I came down for homecoming.
No, I don't remember that.
Was this back when we were in the Valley of the Shadow of Death? Is that what this happened?
The week they fired Earl, I didn't. I was protesting. I didn't even go to that game.
Yeah, you're right. You didn't, because I went up in Section P, and a few of y'all were protested. Kel Kuchar was still there. Shauna, she was still there. Mo Better, but Floyd. And I think he cried a little bit.
Oh boy!
Did I had to hit it with the? It was on it.
Lord have mercy.
Oh my God.
Hey, Mike, what's the series record?
I have no idea, man.
Hold on, I got it. Hold on, let me scroll here to my notes. Let me go to my notes. I got all kinds of notes here. Let me go. Y'all keep talking.
Mike is a very smart guy. He knows the numbers.
FAMU leads the overall series. Just in case anyone didn't know, FAMU leads the overall series 13-3. Of course, FAMU won the last 2 games. Who knows? Now, those last 2 games, the last meeting, of course, was in 2019. FAMU won 30-28. And, of course, the very first meeting was in 1997. FAMU won that contest 41-26. So, it's rough. But you always have that one moment when you came to Tallahassee and stole a win from us. So
yeah, I have that moment. I have some good and bad moments with FAMU.
Yeah,
and my worst moment was '98 with Billy Joe. I still hate that guy to this day.
Yeah, he put it on y'all that day, boy.
Yeah. He
that the 70 burger? Was that the 70 burger?
That was the 80 burger.
80.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought. Oops, sorry about that.
Yeah, we fired we fired the coach after that. I just couldn't take it anymore. But he did me a favor. He got me much more involved with Norfolk State Athletics. After that, and but man, it was rough.
Start there, Mike. Start there with when you look at Norfolk State Athletics and what they watching Norfolk State Athletics. We value football so much in this BCU diaspora. And outside of football, and I'm not saying this with any shade, Norfolk State Athletics, from a visual and just the other sports, is really one of the in the top 5, probably in a lot of rankings, whether it be basketball, whatever. So, I mean, when you look at Norfolk State Athletics right now, what's your perception of where Norfolk State is amongst the rest of the HBCU diaspora, and where do you want it to go? Where do you hope it can go?
Well, amongst the other HBCUs, I would say we're right there in that elite status. But football is, pretty much God, and so most people focus on football. And, we've had our struggles, obviously with football. But when you look at the other sports, we've pretty much dominated the other sports, particularly men's and women's basketball, since we've come into the MEAC. And we kind of carried over from the CIAA days, those that are familiar with us, whereas we just, complete dominance in the CIAA and men's and women's basketball, baseball, and even had our moments in football as well. But basketball, we've always been a dominant school, and we've come over to the MEAC and continued the same legacy with, winning a couple NIT. We won a couple NITs. We won NCAA. We beat Missouri. We beat Alabama. We've had some pretty major wins for HBCU basketball. So we're right up there with the the upper echelon of HBCUs and other sports other than football. But football is it's the granddaddy of them all. So it gets the meat of the attention. And with football, I think we're turning the corner. It's kind of frustrating because we're in one of the hottest recruiting areas in the country. Here in the Tidewater area, all major universities come here and recruit here heavily. And to be in such a hotbed and to struggle in football, it's kind of eating at me and the majority of the alumni, because it's like we can't quite put our finger on why we are struggling, and we're in one of the best recruiting areas in the country. But I think over the last few years, from talking with Coach Odoms and being around the program and helping in some areas, I think we've done a better job getting into the next echelon of talent, here in the area. We had, for the last few years, he's been done kind of like a complete overhaul with the team. And, we've only graduated, I think it was maybe 5 seniors last year. And we had maybe 3 or 4 that go into the transfer portal. Most of the kids, when they come here, whether they're in state or out of state, they love it here. So they, wanted to stay in the program. We had about, 76 freshmen and sophomores that will now this year be, sophomores and juniors. So we're expecting them to make that leap this year because, they've taken their lumps for the last, year or two. So we're expecting that experience that they've gained in their freshman and sophomore years to take hold, this year. And we've got some pretty, exciting freshmen coming in that I'm excited about. We had, I don't know if you kept up with it, being at FAMU was in the SWAC now. I believe we had 9 all MEAC selections. So, we have some talent. We just got to put it all together this year. But also, if you go back and you look at last season, we were in the majority of our games. Most of them we lost probably by a touchdown or less. Itself, well, the South Carolina State game, I would say that the freshman and sophomore kids kind of packed it in. By then, the season was over. But for the most of our games, we were within 1 or 2 plays from winning the game, particularly Howard. We had a running back at the end of the game. Our quarterback Coons, he missed Deion King. He came out the backfield on a wheel route. It was no one within 10 yards of him. If he completes that pass at the end of the game, he could have crawled in the end zone. But our quarterback missed him, so we lost that game. The A&T game, we started off sluggish. They kind of surprised us with the kid from local high school kid here. We recruited him really hard, but we weren't expecting him to start. They started him, and he's completely different than what the previous starting quarterback was. So it took us a couple quarters to adjust to what they were doing. But once we adjusted, then we clawed right back into the game, but ran out of time. So we beat Hampton of the CAA. We beat it was another CAA. We beat 2 CAA teams. I like the direction we're going. I'm a little concerned about the FAMU game, and one because of Kelvin, them guys.
But he ain't coaching. You ain't got he not gonna be plugged in on the sideline. He don't let him fool you with that.
I done talked a lot of trash to Mike over the years.
And but we're up here in Virginia, we're a little concerned because obviously FAMU has a new coach. So it's kind of like you really don't know what to expect, offensively and different, scheme wise, because we haven't seen him coach yet. So we really don't have any film on him. So that it's kind of a concern. Then FAMU has like 100 SEC transfers, so they probably right there with Alabama as far as talent wise.
There you go.
I know, boy. I tell you, boy. You be hanging out in them Jackson State chat rooms, boy. I tell you what, boy. Good Lord.
Then they got the all-world receiver just transferred in, and all. We got our hands full, man. I mean.
Well, you selling. Kelvin, go ahead, because Mike is selling. He's selling. Ain't nobody buying that. Go ahead, he's selling.
Hey, I just want you to know Mike like this all the time now. He comes from the Lou Holt school of trash talk. He pull mouth all the time his own team. just trying to set you up, right? Trying to set you up. But Mike, so realistically, not even for this game, what's your expectation of the Spartans this year, 2024 Spartans? You got a tough schedule. Your first 4 games, man, y'all didn't do Coach Worm no favors, right?
No, absolutely.
So what's your expectation? What do you think you are for this season?
Our expectations are, always to, have a winning, season and win the MEAC. I think those that aren't as close, to some of us Spartans don't, FAMU fan base is legendary. They're, difficult and hard on coaches and things. And Norfolk, people will be surprised. It's just as bad. I think Otis, when he got here, that was part of the problem because he had a championship team when he got here and all. But, of course, it went south at the end of the season. But we're really difficult here. The fans, the alumni, kind of in your face type. They don't hold back. They expect excellence. They're frustrated, extremely frustrated. But we're expecting a winning season, absolutely. And our AD, even though the season started off it starts off difficult, but he has a Virginia State game in there that should be, an easy win. Even though it's a rivalry, big state, little state, we come from Virginia State. So that's a rivalry game. But
what the score was last year, though, Mike?
Easy. Was it last year or 2 years ago that they snuck up and bit y'all? Whoa, easy. Ooh.
It was 2019 last year, right, Mike?
Well, I'm expecting to win the season this year. You know.
Boy.
And we're expecting a victory over FAMU. We're expecting to beat FAMU. We expect that to be one of the wins that we get this year. And,
keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope
keep alive.
Keep hope alive. Marcus, go ahead, Marcus.
Hold on.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I got one more thing, and then y'all can have it. Hey, Mike, you want to talk about Norfolk tailgating?
Oh, yes, sir. We can talk about our tailgating. I know you want to go back. You want to go back 20 years ago.
Hey, y'all go ahead now.
You want to go back 20 years ago when I was struggling a little bit. It was me, Daryl, and the guys from undergrad. We just kind of getting things going. And
who put up your tent, Mike? Who put up your tent? How many of y'all was trying to put up that tent?
Oh, I don't remember. It was about 20 years ago, man.
Wow.
But I remember when I came to that homecoming, though, it won't no tent up at FAMU. I had to help Kelvin put the tent up. And then after we won, I went back to the tailgate. And it was just me and Kelvin,
Which is
you guys didn't want to hang around for me.
Hey, which is Sam Dixon. Yeah, we were protesting. Jimmy, he was in town. Jimmy left. He was gone on Friday. Yeah. That's Winslow. So yeah, you caught us at the wrong time that time. That's the only time. But I will say, man, I appreciate you and the Spartan Rules and Spartan Ghosts and all those MEAC fan guys for always every time. I've been up there several times, and every time y'all guys, man, y'all been great, very hospitable.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just great people too. Salt of the earth. So
I appreciate that. Yeah, we enjoy when you guys come up. We really do. And Decatur, I did my best in my sales pitch. I couldn't quite woo his daughter to Norfolk, but she came, looked at the campus and everything, and saw this. I threw the sushi bar on him because we have a sushi bar there. I just knew that was the home run. But that's one.
Wow.
That's one for the fences that I missed. But
Hey, Mike, I didn't tell you, but I do have a niece. Now she grew up in Maryland, Virginia area anyway, but I do have a niece who's a sophomore at Norfolk. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Send me her name. I'll take care of her. We especially every year homecoming. We go back to the dorms and stuff, and we give them gift cards and different things, to help them out whatever they need, and my wife and I for the last 20 plus years have been supporting different students that may need books or some financial help and things like that to get through school. So we take care of our own here. So send me her information. And if there's anything that she may need, a ride to the airport or anything, we got her.
You got it.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Well, Mike, it's good to see you. And I know Lee ended up not going to Norfolk, and actually he hooked us up with even though it's probably gritting his teeth, he hooked us up with a trip to Hampton as well to check out the campus. Yeah. She was looking.
Yeah.
But so salt of the earth, do anything, got connections and everything. So, but I wanted to ask, and I was doing some research because I'd heard this, I think during Coach Odom's press conference or somewhere, and I did research for this show when I knew you were coming on. That like you were saying earlier, a lot of the games that you had, like it was a close loss to Virginia State.
Mm-hmm.
I think you guys were marching in. You stopped them on a. You didn't get I want to go through the details, but basically had five games. I think Virginia State, A&T, Tennessee State. We were within one TD, or they scored a last-minute TD.
Yeah,
Howard was a very much last-minute TD, and same with Morgan. So with all those close losses, what impact or what growth do you expect from this year's team in order to turn those close losses into wins? Overall, you went 3-8, but you have 5 losses within the last minute by a touchdown or less.
And we're expecting this year for those 5 losses to be, 5 wins. And as I said earlier, because, we started almost our entire starting lineup was freshmen and sophomores. And so we're expecting, there'll be sophomores and juniors this year with a little more, experience, they're a little stronger, a little faster, a little bigger, got a little more, more game experience. They done seen a few tricks, out there on the field. So we're expecting them to cut down on a lot of the mistakes they made last year that may have cost us, a first down where could have got the defense off the field, or a first down that could have kept a drive alive and we didn't make it. We're expecting those changes this year with that experience. We brought in a transfer quarterback that, we're pretty excited about. We think the first couple of games, it may be a little slippery slope because, he came in late, learning the playbook. He got a new offensive coordinator. So we're expecting some great things from him, his leadership. We picked up a few guys to help along the defensive line. That was an area of weakness last year for us. So we tried to improve that. We got some really good freshman linebackers that'll be sophomores this year that we think will play a lot better. Our secondary is pretty strong. They're going to be, really challenged against, FAMU receivers, but we expect them to hold up well. So that's the biggest difference. I think we just got another year experience on our belt. So we're expecting to make the small changes that cost us games last year. And because, like I said, those guys will be a year older this year.
No, just to follow up with that experience, the experience coming back, because I think you have somewhere on 17 or 18 starters and everyone having a year's more experience. With the other changes or loss of key players and the usual suspects at Central and at Howard, primarily their quarterbacks, do you expect this year to be, I want to say the optimal year, but a great opportunity to elevate in the standings? And Coach Pugh haven't retired, so there's seismic shifts in terms of leadership experience in at least 3 of the 6 MEAC programs.
Yeah, and that's another area that we looked at, whereas they are losing, quality starters in the quarterbacks, and we're bringing back a young team, but an experienced young team. So we expect Odoms to take full advantage of that, and then he's going into contract year, and so that normally brings out the best in the coaches, and he's dealt with a lot from the alumni here, and like I said, it's difficult to coach here, even though we haven't had a lot of success, but it's extremely difficult coaching here. If you talk to some of those coaches that have been here in the past, whereas the alumni just really hard on coaches, but he's been here for a while, so we expect to see him, take it to the next level. And I'm impressed with some of his recruiting. And but like I said, I'm expecting great things. This is last year on his contract. The kids got a little more experience. Central lost a great quarterback, but Central also replacing that quarterback with a really good kid. The kid that they replacing it with, he can sling it. And so I'm not really expecting maybe as far as experience and leadership, it may be a bit of a dip, but the kid is really talented. So, and then they have, in my opinion, probably the best coach in the MEAC. I'm very impressed with the coach. Central's always disciplined, always prepared, always seem to be make the right play. So I'm not expecting a great fall off from them, but I am expecting us to take that next step. It won't be easy, but I expect us to prevail this year.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Okay. You brought up Dawson Odom's contract year. I mean, that's one of the things there. I mean, he started off not bad, 6-5, but then went 2-9. And then, of course, last year's 3-8. Obviously, you as you've mentioned, close games. do you feel like, and as you talk with other alums and people that you are connected to with, is there a number, like when you look at it and say we need you said a winning season? So I'm not sure if you guys are on a 12 or 11 game schedule this year.
12.
Okay, so winning to me would mean 7.
Right.
Now, of course, 7 of the 12 games are non-conference games.
Right.
So what is there a number? What does Dawson Odoms have to do to extend? Or, it's like, hey, short of a 10-win season, I don't know if Dawson's coming. In your opinion, I'm not asking you to throw your coach under.
No, it's definitely a number, but I got to keep that in the empire, though. We can't let that out.
You said winning, so if I had to set a number at 8.5, over 8.5.
I got to keep that one to the vet.
Oh, wow. Woo! No pressure, Coach Odoms.
Yeah.
All right, no pressure. Hey. Okay. Wait a minute. Say that again, Mark. Say that again. Your mic. I don't hear you, Kelvin.
Hey, no, I was just saying the seat is really hot. In other words.
Yeah. The seat's scorching hot.
Sounds like
it starts Saturday. It starts Saturday.
Oh, Jesus.
It starts Saturday.
All right, so
I feel sorry for him.
Well, look, okay, so 2 things came out of the MEAC press conference, right? And I know Marcus talked about a few things, but one, Coach Odoms talked about the amount of returners, and I think the number I heard was about 20, which I mean, that's a lot of returners. That's practically everybody coming back, right?
19.
But the one question that he was evasive then, which has been answered earlier this week, was the starting quarterback position.
Mm-hmm.
The young man, the transfer, Jalen Daniels, gets to start. Otto Coons, something happened with some eligibility issues where he's not going to be eligible for the first 4 games.
Right.
What's your take on Daniels? And, I mean, you talked about it, him potentially and the offensive coordinator. Your 4th new offensive coordinator. How confident or how nervous are you at the start of the season with so many big games in the first month?
I'm actually really nervous because there's so many new pieces. Daniels is he's extremely talented, but like any other quarterback coming into a Division I conference, it's going to take a little time for them to adjust to the game speed. I've seen some great moments in practice and seen some not so good moments. But I expect good things from him. He's a big kid, like 6'4", 6'5", real athletic, and so I expect some good things from him. The offensive coordinator, he tends to adjust his offense to his talent. I like what I'm seeing from him so far, and he was at Alcorn, so he's running similar to what he had at Alcorn, but not the same. I don't want to give Kelvin anything to go tell the coach, but with Coons though, just to be transparent, we kind of those of us at at Norfolk, we knew there was a possibility in the spring, and actually even in December we knew there was a possibility that he wouldn't be able to play. And also Odoms and the staff, they did their due diligence, knowing that possibility that he wouldn't be available, and but I'm not sure if he still had to earn the job, even if he didn't have the 4-game suspension. I'll leave it at that.
All right.
So what happens in 4 weeks?
In 4 weeks?
Yeah. What happened at that position in 4 weeks?
He comes back and he competes.
Okay.
He's not gonna come back and be the starter if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
that won't happen. He has to come back and compete for it, just like he did in the summer, in the spring. You got to compete for it.
Okay.
And just in case anyone was wondering, those first 4 games for Norfolk State, they of course opened the season against us, Florida A&M. Mm-hmm. Then they travel to East Carolina. Then they host Virginia State, who was one of the top 2 predicted teams in the CIAA. Many people think Virginia State has a real shot at getting to the championship game there. I mean, that's a rivalry that goes back to when my daddy, who's a Norfolk State grad and a Virginia State grad, that goes back to the decades old.
Yeah, this decade's old.
This is CIAA old school. And then, of course, across the Bay, Battle of the Bay.
Yeah, Battle of the Bay.
Yeah, that's a hell of a schedule, man. I mean, if y'all, let me not show shade, but with a strong team, that's an exciting schedule, man. That's an exciting schedule.
It's an exciting schedule, but our concern was alumni was Battle of the Bay and Big State, Little State, Virginia State game to be back to back, because both of them are really intense rivalry games. And with such a young team, even though they have some experience, but it's still a young team, and to have to play your 2 biggest rivals back to back, it's concerning. It's real concerning for us, And Frazier, he's going to have those guys, well prepared at Virginia State, and it's like that Super Bowl for them, and to come in here and beat us. And I had to, hear it. I'm still hearing it from some family members that, kind of bumped their head when they were born and ended up at Virginia State. And I'm still hearing it from them. Hampton, that's a major rivalry. And those are heated games. I like the Florida Classic, like FAMU Bethune is a really heated rivalry. But I was kind of shocked when I first went there, because it's such a heated rivalry, but they so friendly and towards one another. Whereas, when I came up as a child in Norfolk and stuff, the Hampton NSU rivalry was extremely intense. To give you a little secret, our presidents even got in the fight. That's how heated the rivalry is. And how at a basketball game one year, it's really, really intense. It's kind of gotten better over the years with the younger generation coming along, and some of the older guard, retiring and transitioning on. It's kind of eased off, but it's still a really intense rivalry though.
Any final questions, Kelvin or Marcus, before we get to one last final thought here from Mike?
No, man, we can go ahead. I know, see, once he leave this interview, I know he still got work to do. So I'm gonna let him off. I'm gonna let him off the hook.
But don't let me off the hook Saturday evening though. Keep the phone on.
you know how to reach me. You keep the phone on.
I had one final question, and Marcus, I don't know if you had one in there, but my question had to do with the Spartan, obviously the Spartan Nation traveling.
I'm good.
Because you've got, obviously, going to Atlanta is a big deal. I mean, national television. I mean, it's one of those venues and opportunities that we haven't seen Norfolk State football in.
Right.
And then late September, you go into Indianapolis for what is a MEAC game against Central, which is moved to Indy. Will the Spartan faithful, will they travel? I mean, how will the traveling be? Can we expect what kind of? I mean, this is a great opportunity to kind of spread the brand. And what type of crowd can you expect, or do you expect?
It's an excellent opportunity to spread our brand of especially football. Our band. With the halftime show, and I expect a really good turnout. it was some concerns, because of and no disrespect, but because it's FAMU. But then a couple of weeks later we got Virginia State and Hampton, and those are our number one games for us. So the out of state alumni and all, it's a little concerned that if they'll be able to, if they're going to travel to Atlanta and then travel home to Norfolk, back-to-back weeks as well. So it was some concern there that we wanted to get the games more distance between the Virginia State and Hampton game, but we weren't able to because of their schedule and CAA. But I expect a really good turnout, for us. Of course, we're not going to have the crowd that FAMU has. The Atlanta playing in Atlanta is kind of like become a staple, a home game for them. Over the years against Tennessee State and all, and Southern and stuff. So, but I expect us to have a really good showing. We have a large alumni chapter down in Atlanta, and on our alumni page, it's a lot of excitement about the game. So I'm expecting a pretty good turnout, and also the game being on TV, kind of the fence riders, kind of hurts them, but I'm expecting a good turnout from us, and I'm expecting us to play well on the field as well.
I do agree that I expect Norfolk State to play well. And of course, I'm looking forward to seeing the band because they're outstanding.
Oh
yeah.
But in terms of attendance, it's gonna be your band, your cheerleaders, and 5 people.
Mike and his family and my family. Huh?
No, we're gonna have a good strong showing, and Kev, you can come on over to the home side and dance when the Legion playing like you do when you come to Price.
Whoa! Is there video of this? Please tell me there's video of this, Mike.
What the young folks say? I got receipts.
He ain't got no video of that. Hey, but I do have video of that tailgate with one burger on the grill.
That was South Carolina State. That was South Carolina State. When we went down there, we put the video up with them. But they had that one burger on the grill. And but I got the pictures too now of when I got to the tailgate, the tents were just laying all around, and it was just 2 tables with a bunch of food piled up on it, and some Bojangles and stuff. Y'all hadn't even grilled anything yet.
I wasn't there, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I won't be in any of those pictures, that's for sure.
All right, Mike, I'll give you an opportunity. Norfolk State will be successful on Saturday if they do what?
Norfolk State will be successful if we don't turn the football over. If we don't turn the football over, we'll be successful.
Okay. It doesn't get any simpler than that, right? Don't turn the ball over and give yourself a chance, right?
Right, give yourself a chance. And Spartan Head's prediction is 24-13 Norfolk.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Ooh. Okay. Wow.
Okay.
Spicy.
Yeah, I know, spicy. Norfolk State's a 17. I'm looking at one line that says Norfolk State's a 17-point dog. So I hope you put a little pizza money on that one, Mike. You might get a free vacation if that happens to come through. If you put a little,
don't know about that King, Deion King, and let me stop. I ain't gonna.
Talk your talk, Mike. He got. Hey, see, when Mike leave here and he get off work, he got to go back and talk to the Legion. You know, and say, see, man, I defended us. I predicted us to win.
When I come to the Florida Classic, man, you guys got to come around. Me and Kev, we go way harder than this. Yeah. We being nice tonight,
We appreciate it, Mike. Make sure to tell the Spartan Legion about our tailgate Friday. Anybody who gets in town Friday, of course, we'll be right across the street from the stadium at Bullpen Ribs and Barbecue Friday, 4 to 7 p.m. It is open to all HBCU, so not just a FAMU party, but FAMU's, Rattlers, Norfolk State Spartans, any other HBCU family. Come on over, Bullpen Ribs and Barbecue, 4 to 7 p.m. We'd love to have you and the Spartan family come on over and chop it up with us. And then obviously you guys, I know y'all got tailgates all over the city, but
yeah, we got a bunch of tailgates going on. And
that
location, is that a restaurant there?
It is a restaurant. Yeah, it's a barbecue. It's a restaurant, right? Pollard is the street that literally is right when you come off the interstate. That's the right before you get to the block where the stadium is. That's Pollard. And if you coming off the interstate, I guess turn right or head south a little bit. It's right on the right-hand side. Literally, when I say you could throw a rock, all you're doing is throwing a rock across the street and hitting the stadium. So, yeah.
No, the reason I asked is, Kev, send me the information. I have a lot of family in Atlanta. My wife has a lot of family there as well. She's from Albany, Georgia. Okay. So we both have a lot of family there, and I'll pass it on to them so they can support the restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely. I'll make sure Kelvin. I'll send it to Kelvin and make sure you get that.
And well, most of them, they Norfolk State grads, but I tell them to go support it anyway, though.
That's all right. My parents. I got Spartan blood in me. Both of my parents are Spartans, and a lot of cousins. So it's all good. It's all good. We'll be.
You got some good parents.
Yeah. He got sniped. It must have ran out of juice there at 10 o'clock on the Eastern Coast. All right. Well, we're gonna appreciate. We thank Mike for coming on.
Mike got sniped because he did that line prediction.
All right, Marcus has got to get ready to leave us here. We appreciate Mike Ely for coming in and joining us. Marcus has got to get ready to go. So
Marcus.
Before Marcus leaves, Marcus, you got to give us a bold prediction early. We'll put it on wax. You can obviously change it later this weekend, but as it is today, give us a bold prediction and a closing thought before you head out. And then Kelvin and we will finish up the show with some volleyball talk and then make our own bold predictions as well.
I'm going to say 2 interceptions by the Dark Cloud defense.
Ooh, okay.
That's a good
2 interceptions by the Dark Cloud. Any score predictions? Again, Florida A&M anywhere from a 14 to a 17-point favorite. I'm looking at one particular spot that's saying a 17-point favorite. Any score predictions there?
I'm going to say 24-10. FAMU.
Okay. 24-10 FAMU. All right. Not quite covering, but a win's a win early in the season. All right, Mike, Marcus, I'm sorry, you and the family. I know you got some work to do tonight, but you guys safe travels, and we will see you in the A this weekend. All right.
When I got my shirt, got my O&G polo.
All right.
Tell me which day we wearing it. Is it press in the press box or?
Yeah, I think we got to do press. I think you got to wear it in the press box. We got to do the press box thing.
I got to make sure I lay out. I got to space out the orange and green. Make sure I get the right things lined up.
Gotcha. All right, Marcus. Great show. Thank you. Safe travels. And we will see you in the A. Everybody else, hang tight. We're going to take a short break, come back, and we're going to let you guys know about the upcoming volleyball season starting off on Friday, and also give our bold predictions for Saturday's game as well. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head and Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
Hey, grab me one too.
Charmin Ultra Soft has so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember. They can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft. Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody. Sorry.
Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more, but it's so absorbent, you can use less, so it's always worth it.
Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go, why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app. As we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone as Kelvin and I get ready to try to wrap up the show here with some final thoughts throughout. Kelvin, just your thoughts. How much of an impact, look, the Norfolk State coming into their week with as much of a quarterback question as we had. A lot of people were trying to figure out who was going to be QB1. So they go with the Jalen Daniels kids over Otto Coons, who I already had my doubts as to whether Coons, back at the press conference, I mean, when I heard Odoms state that, and it was kind of weird, I even threw in our former FAMU transfer Cameron Sapp. So I didn't have any idea that Daniels was even in the mix. But Odoms kept it very close to the vest. But so now they go with this Daniels kid. What's your take on what this means for us, given that this is a guy that we don't have? If it were Otto Coons, we'd have film and we'd seen him. Daniels presents something new that we haven't seen.
We seen him. He has film at the JUCO level.
Okay.
And what I would tell you is that, and I did my research. He's good at extending plays. So he's mobile and he will take off and run, but I wouldn't classify him as a runner, but he's more than capable. But what I think I saw on the film, what he was really good at was making, even when guys were on block, making the first guy miss and rolling out to his weak hand and throwing against his body. So he can be a playmaker. So we're going to have to keep him in the pocket. I suspect we're going to get good pressure on him. And he's going to have some tight windows, but he is capable of extending plays and making some plays downfield. So, and it's first game. So, the game plan is simple. I think for the Dark Cloud defense, because the standard is the standards, we always try to make teams one dimensional. We try to take away the run, so we can pin our tails back on third down and come after them with 4. We don't like the blitz. We may blitz a little bit more here and there, have different kind of packages of how we come at teams. With the new defense coordinator, but so I think it's going to come down to, can their quarterback make plays against the Dark Cloud defense? That's the game in a nutshell for me.
All right, so Jalen Daniels it is to start for Norfolk State. Of course, new offensive coordinator that was mentioned, of course, Jason Phillips. He's the fourth offensive coordinator in the 4 years that Dawson Odoms has been coaching there. And as you heard Mike said, man, this will be one of those those first 4 games. Norfolk State could easily go anywhere from 2-2 to 0-4. And the latter, woo, man, that hot seat was
a wrap.
Smoking. Yeah.
No, if they go in 0-4, it's a wrap.
Well, yeah, because if you go 0-4, that means you've lost to not only your 2 rivals.
Both rivals.
Yeah,
right.
You've lost to 2 rivals. And I mean, what little bit of grace you had with the alumni base might be all gone. And, that's tough. That's tough. Let's get to what happened with the – all right, a couple of questions here. Let's get game-related questions. Tony asks the question. He goes, when we go up big, do you think Cozy will pull some starters? And I'm assuming this is looking maybe third quarter with something like this. I mean, the South Carolina State's the following week. Any thought here when you see this question about pulling starters or
one, I'm gonna respect Norfolk State. They do have a lot of returning players. They got something to play for. So, I do expect us to win by double digits, but I think we'll progress to that. If it does turn out to a blowout, which is very possible, wait for our bold prediction. Then we have depth, and we got to get good looks. Period. So I don't know. I think they'll go with a normal rotation. Frankly, I think we're going to play a lot of players anyway. So pulling starters, I doubt it. I mean, but we're going to we're going to go 3 deep at some positions, and that's going to be in the first and second quarter. So, and by the way, I tell you, if we were able to get up and the game get out of hand, anybody who's coming in is capable of starting. So
that part right there.
I don't think it is any better for them if they can't handle the first team.
Yeah. I've already started. So you guys, we're going to give our predictions here coming up shortly, but you guys, if you want to go ahead and start dropping your predictions, your score predictions in the chat, go ahead and start doing that. I'll get to Larry Sargent. I'm gonna put his. I got his starred. Kylan already put his in there in the chat. We'll get to those here in a second. I'm trying to hit a couple of these questions up. All right. Here's one from my guy Doc of HBCU Overdrive. Would Colsey try to keep the offensive game plan simple or open it up throughout the game? And I guess this is again with thoughts of the following week, South Carolina State, which by the way, I don't know if we really look. I mean, the rivalry with South Carolina State is a good one, but I don't think we're like going to shade anything to not show anything to South Carolina State. I mean, it's a national television game. You can't hide.
Not only that, Bryan, we really don't know what South Carolina State gonna look like. They got they got a new staff. So what we waiting and hiding for? We need to work on our stuff and make sure that our guys get comfortable and are executing what we and just knowing Coach Henry and our defensive staff. No, I don't think we'll do a whole lot of hiding anything. We're going to run our schemes, and we're going to try to perfect running our schemes, and that's going to be it.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff there. Good stuff. Okay. Again, I'm coming back to all the score predictions as I see them. So you guys drop those in. I will tell you again, the just to kind of give you something to chew on, the data analytics prediction of this game put the line somewhere at about a 14 to 17 point favorite for FAMU. So that's all I'll share with you right now. I have seen, I'm just checking. I don't know which, it's hard to tell you which sports book is putting these out because normally they usually wait until the game day or the night before. But I'm following a thread here that has the line at 17 points, FAMU being a 17-point favorite, and the over-under at 50.5. So that's just something to think about. And I'll give you a betting tip on this game coming up here shortly. But Kelvin, let's transition for a minute and talk about volleyball because the start of the season is 2 days away, and the Lady Rattlers are about to take the court at home against West Florida in a exhibition contest on Friday at the Lawson Center. It's a 4:00 game, so it's an afternoon game. A great opportunity to get out on the afternoon and watch the ladies. And, of course, the SWAC earlier this week released the preseason rankings, preseason predictions, as well as the players of the year. And, in terms of preseason honors, we had 3 ladies on the first team, including newcomer to FAMU, but the defending, or I should say reigning player of the year, Jada Rhodes, who was preseason player of the year. Brooklyn Watts, who's on another outside hitter. She was a preseason, she's preseason first team. She was first team last year at the end of the season. Isis Williams, who's been there for a few years now. I think Coach Gokhan said she was one of, if not one of his first recruits, one of his first recruits. So she is here for her final season. She made first team. And then Ayani Sanford, who I had a chance to meet, a true sophomore, had a great freshman year, from Fort Walton Beach. Shout out. I got some friends who are, they are from Fort Walton and they look out for Ayani. And so I'm working on trying to get her on the show later this season, but she was second team preseason. And there you see the preseason predicted order of finish. I don't think there's any surprise there. I think Coach Gokhan talked about Jackson State having some good returners.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see by the voting, I mean, we were only 5 points behind. So Jackson State did have 10 first place votes. We had 4. Alabama State had 3 first place votes. And so when I look at the predictions and the numbers, Jackson State having 10 first place votes, what that tells me, 10 first place votes. They had 6 more first place votes than us, but 5 points difference between us and them. That means to me, if you didn't think Jackson State was going to be first, most likely you put them third. And most people settled in and saying either FAMU is first or second. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where that went. And that's why we were only 5 points behind Jackson State. That's just without doing an analytical breakdown, but looking at the numbers, you're shaking your head. You kind of agree with my thought there.
Absolutely. And if you look over the last 3 years, those are the top 3 teams in SWAC volleyball.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt they are. And again, the SWAC preseason honors, there you go right there. Jada Rhodes, of course, preseason player of the year. And yes, she was the player of the year at the end of the season last year for Alabama State. So a big pickup for FAMU. And there you can see some of the other preseason award winners. So
very excited and just regurgitating some of the things Coach Gokhan said, and we got more players this year. We got more coaches, 2 more assistant coaches. We also have, and he's going to go. He said he's going to, it's very likely that, they're going to go 15 players in the rotation that probably, with all the, the transfers that came in also. So they were able to go to summer school.
Yeah.
And so for the first time, usually a lot of those
he did talk about that. I remember him being on the show a couple years ago, and he talked about not being able to have the girls or ladies come in during the summer like what happens for football. So,
So what that means, and the reason I'm bringing all those points is because I'm not thinking about the SWAC right now. I'm thinking about those early out-of-conference matches. I do expect for us to probably get a few more of those and have a little bit better out-of-conference record this year because of that.
Yeah, definitely. Last season, we went 18-4 overall, 12-4 in SWAC play. Ended up playing Jackson State in the championship game. Jackson State had a heck of a run in the tournament last year. I think they knocked off the 3, 1, and the 2 seed. I mean, I think they were the 4. I mean, it was a tight race there among the top 4, and I think Jackson State was the 4 seed, and they just, they knocked off the 3 best, probably the 3 best teams that they would have faced anyway on the way, and they finished the season with an 8-game winning streak. So they were the hot team last year. I had one other thing pulled up here regarding volleyball. Oh, I was looking at the schedule. So after the West Florida exhibition match on Friday, next weekend in Atlanta. So you Atlanta Rattlers, you'll get to see the volleyball team come up to Atlanta as they're playing in a tournament hosted by Georgia State. And so beginning on Friday, they will play 2 games on Friday against the University of South Dakota. That's an 11 a.m. game. And then they'll play Indiana State University that later in the afternoon. Again, these are August 30th and August 31st. And then that Saturday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, that's when they play Georgia State. So all of these games will be hosted at Georgia State University. So a great opportunity for the Atlanta Rattlers. I know we got a great fan chapters up there in Atlanta that'll be in the house for that game. So and then the September 4th, which is after Labor Day, we actually have a home game against the University of North Florida in the Lawson Center, 5 Eastern. So really excited about the schedule and opportunities, Kelvin. Like you said, I think this is big for the program, and hopefully some of these close, because how many we had like at least five set matches last year, games that went down, and like we lost the 5th set by like 2 points, so close losses against non-SWAC Division I opponents last year. So easily last season could have been a 20-win season had a few of those points gone our way. So it'll be interesting to see with the unity and the bonding that this team has been able to build. It'll be interesting to see what they do.
And size.
And size.
You got to remember in terms of middle blockers, and we're a lot longer than we've been in a. Well, Coach Gogon says since he's been here, this is probably the most length he's had on the team. So again, we've always been athletic and pretty fundamentally sound, but now we're longer and can have a better block defensive game. So yeah, I think that's going to translate to some of these out of conference games.
Yeah. Looking at the roster here, man, we got some really size. I mean, this is a good looking group of ladies. They are fun. Should be fun. Also want to make mention of we talked about our friend of the program, former two-time SWAC Player of the Year, Dominique Washington. She is back. Dominique is now part of the coaching staff. Coach Gokhan, in his 7th season, added a familiar face, a legend. In just the 2 years that she was at FAMU, cemented herself as a legend in the volleyball program. During her 2 seasons, she led the team to back-to-back SWAC championships. In our first 2 years in the SWAC, she was back-to-back SWAC Player of the Year, an ABCA All-American, honorable mention. She's 8th all-time in kills in just 2 seasons, 9th in total attacks. And so, of course, Dominique now gets to add her knowledge and skills as a coach. And she gets to work with some outstanding outside hitters. I'm really excited with Jada and Brooklyn to see what they do this year. So shout out to Dominique, and hopefully we will get that interview set up with Dominique. We thought we had it, but we'll see. Hopefully, she watches the show, or somebody gets to her and say, "Hey, Dominique, come on the show. We love having you." So it was good seeing her at Fan Day. So, all right, Kay. You ready to kind of get into making some bold predictions, or kind of break this game down a little bit? What do you foresee happening, and just your thoughts and predictions? And so while Kelvin's giving his thoughts, I'm gonna put a little graphic up there and ask you guys, what's your score prediction for the MEAC-SWAC Challenge? Take it away, Kelvin. What you got?
First thing that sticks out to me is a new quarterback. Even a 6'4" talented quarterback. First game, big crowd, #1 defense in the nation, top 5 defense in the nation. That's a tall order. That's a very tall order. So I don't see them being able to just establish a run against our defense. So I'm thinking 3 and outs, and too many 3 and outs ain't good. As well as I imagine there's going to be a turnover to it. First game jitters, going against elite defense, hostile crowd. So I'm looking at our defense against their offense as like the key to the game. As long as our offense doesn't match them in terms of turnovers, I do think we'll wear them down, and I do anticipate a couple of sacks, a minimum of a couple of sacks. I think the quarterback's gonna get happy feet after that first half. You get that pressure, get hit, you might have a turnover. Like, man, these jokers everywhere, and they really ain't gonna have an option behind him because Sapp is not there. The only other quarterback they had that had any experience from last year, and of course Coons is suspended, so they got to ride him. And that's the other question, man. Will he survive the game? How well do they protect him? For FAMU on the offensive side, I'm going to be conservative right now, right? I think the talent is there. We have a really long offensive line. Our offensive line probably average 6'5", about 305. We got 2 6'7" guys on the end. You got a 6'5" center. TJ Lee, who's 6'3", started with full SWAC. So there's a lot for us to work with. But, I don't think they have to do a whole lot to be dominant and put points on the board. So, I think we'll be up probably 10 at the half, and I'm going to predict a big victory. And I just hope, the guys bag it up. They show up. If they play up their attention, mistake Rattler-free football, I think a reasonable score is, last year nobody put over 2 touchdowns on our defense, pretty much outside of South Florida. I expect that kind of defense this year. Now, we averaged 30 points last year as an offense. For the first game, I probably won't push the envelope. So I'll say probably a 27-10 games sound about right to me.
Okay. 27-10 is your prediction. Looking at some of the predictions from some folks in there, Larry Sargent jumped in. Larry went big. Go big or go home. Larry went with 42-7. Woo! I love that, Larry. That's a lot. That's a lot. Kylan went with a 24-10 contest. Edwin Moore, a little bit closer, with a 21-14 contest. Tony went 31-17. Marvin Allen, 34-14. 27-7, Larry Smith. Tamara T goes 34-10. And Jens P go 34-13.
So everybody's pretty consistent about our defense, Dark Cloud defense. Everybody's saying we give you a touchdown and a field goal. That's about it.
Yeah, I was just sitting here looking at what we did a year ago in the month of September. And like you said, outside of South Florida. But again, that's a game that was marred by how many turnovers did we have? And
Four,
and like 3 of them were
red zone.
Inside. Yeah, a couple of them were in the red zone. So we gave up 38 points in that game. But 10 versus Jackson State, 10 versus West Florida, 10 versus Alabama State, 7 versus Valley. It wasn't until we kind of had back-to-back games on the road, which we did point out last year was going to be that stretch. That was going to be interesting, the Southern and Texas Southern game where we did give up some points. We even gave up a lot of points at Alabama A&M. But after that, it was hard. You were hard-pressed to get unassisted points. Key word there. Unassisted points. And that's why I think I love the message by Coach Colsey talking about the turnovers and the mistakes and not – if we don't beat ourselves, how much greater can we be? And so while we talk about reload and run it back, I think that's a great thing for the coaching staff to challenge. You try to challenge a team every year, especially a championship team, because last year was last year's team. This is a new team. So we can't let's stop referencing about 23. Okay. Don't let anybody reference about 23. This is 24. It's a new team, new coach, new coaching staff. Okay. But the culture is being established. The culture is set. And so now this team has the unique challenge of creating and setting and making their own path towards the Celebration Bowl in December. And so I think if we don't give Norfolk State points or opportunities to score, I'm with a lot of you guys. I don't know how they score more than I'm going to say more than 13, because that's really a touchdown and a pair of field goals, right? So I don't know how they score more than 13 unassisted. So I'm going to set it at a 10. And I think 17 points is a lot of points to give up, folks. I will tell you this, 50.5 is a total. It's a high number. I would tell you to play under 50.5. If it got into the 40s, though, if you saw it in the mid 40s or low 40s, I would be nervous. I'd be very nervous. But at 50.5, I'm playing under 50.5, because this could very well be a FAMU game where we go, 28-10. And I think that's the prediction I'm going to go with, a 28-10 victory by FAMU, 38 total points. Looking at the last couple of MEAC-SWAC challenges, they kind of fall. Well, the last couple ones have gone under a large number of 50. So I think you've got that working for you if you want to go there. I would be nervous about laying the 17 with FAMU. I'm not gonna lie, because I don't. Colsey's a new coach. I don't. You got to get a feel for what he likes to do. If you would have told me Willie Simmons' team, I'd have said go ahead and give them 17 points up. But Colsey may play. He may be more conservative, and that remains to be seen. So my prediction and best bet. My prediction 28-10. FAMU wins, but my best bet is to play under 50.5 points. So wherever you can find it, that's what I suggest you do on Saturday when you wake up and are looking for a place to put some money on this game. Okay. And so I don't think I've got don't have any new predictions from anybody. How about, do you want to make up? Marcus said he had 2 interceptions. How about a bold prediction? We'll go bold. We'll do that contest again. Bold prediction for this contest.
I'm going to say the defense is going to have at least 4 sacks.
Ooh, 4 sacks. Okay. I like that. 4 sacks. My bold prediction in the same, I would have never predicted or ever thought we'd open the season the way we did, right? I mean, that was just unbelievable. One of those once in a lifetime moments. But what I will go with is I will go with a punt return touchdown by Jalen Rogers. I'm gonna go because I think that's where you can catch special teams still trying to figure themselves out in the early part of this season, right? So there is going to be I think there is a good opportunity for a special teams, and if Jalen Rogers, and I'm not gonna say Rogers or Gassett, so I'm just gonna go Rogers, and I'm gonna go punt return. So I'm gonna be real specific. I'm gonna say Jalen Rogers punt return touchdown in this contest. Don't know if it'll be the first half or second half, but I think there might be a special teams breakdown, and that opens the door for him to do just that.
And that's a solid. I can see that.
Yeah, I like this. Tony here going with thought Coach Burris bringing a Canadian offense. I don't know. You
got to remember, Coach Henry is the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, he is.
And our offense is not significantly different from last year. The play calling may be, and the execution may be, but the scheme is pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm.
And Ms. Gail, I predicted that the defense would get 4 sacks. I think we're going to dominate on defense.
Right. We need somebody to keep track of these because inevitably, I try to keep track and we try to come back. But if there's somebody out there who wants to help and keep track of these for us, we greatly appreciate it. And I think Marcus had said, what did Marcus say? 2 pick sixes or just 2 interceptions? I think he said 2 interceptions. Marcus said 2 interceptions by the Dark Cloud defense. That's what it was. So Marcus went with 2 interceptions by the Dark Cloud defense. Kelvin is going with 4 sacks by the Dark Cloud defense. I am going special teams. I'm going punt return by Jalen Rogers. I'm going specifically, I'm looking at you, Jalen Rogers. Welcome to FAMU, baby, and get it done and get that punt return. Appreciate you, Gail. Gail's going to go ahead and she's going to be our court stenographer and keep track of our bold predictions. So there's our bold predictions. All right. Well, thank you to everybody for participating.
Didn't I win last year? I think I had the most right.
Did you?
I think so.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if you did. To be honest. So, all right. Well, folks, again, it's a 7:30 kickoff. Coach Colsey was gave you some insight. He said the team doesn't run out on the field until 7:39, and technically kickoff is 7:44. I'm sure ABC doesn't want you to know that because that means you don't really got to cut your TV on until about 7:36, 7:40. But they want you to turn in at 7:30 to watch the pregame with Jay and Tiffany. So Tiffany Green, family, and Jay Walker, they will be calling the game, of course. I saw somebody post a note about payout for this game. Did you? I didn't. I know we had Mr. Grant on the BCSN Sports Wrap Sunday. He didn't give specific numbers about the payouts, but he did say it was pretty good. It wasn't shabby. So
I know they cover the expenses of the team and the band in terms of hotel and that kind of stuff. But what the actual dollar payout minus expenses, we'll probably get and have to share it later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say, oh well, I just lost my thought. Let me get this last promo out here, so that we can get ready to get out of here. I want to encourage everybody again, within the sound of the voice, to come check out the BCSN Game Time on Friday.
What about Saturday?
What do you mean? What about Saturday?
Don't we do something Saturday too?
Well, okay. So Saturday will be at the stadium.
Right.
Saturday be at the stadium. So Friday will be across the street at Bullpen Ribs and Barbecue. Friday, 4 to 7 p.m. So please come on out. Even before you go party in the A at your favorite tailgate spot, come on over to the BCSN Game Time. We're going to do a live show. So hopefully we have some Rattlers. Hopefully we have some Spartans. Bullpen Ribs and Barbecue. We'd love to see you. Bring your friends, bring your family. Even if you're going to sit and eat with us or grab something, the food is good, I promise. And if you love smoked wings, you will enjoy the smoked wings from this location, no doubt. Guarantee on that. What else? Also, last opportunity. If you are still trying to find tickets, for this weekend, justlookingout.com is where you can go to purchase your tickets. And I'll put the graphic up again so that way you can see it. There it is. Justlookingout.com. StrikeZone is the code. $79 is the cost. So only a handful left. So if you know somebody looking for club seats or just seats in general, great seats, again, there's where they're at, right there encircled in red. You can't ask for a better spot. So please, please, please check out justlookingout.com. Use the code StrikeZone. Let Mike Reed know you're a friend of the program. And act quick because there's maybe a dozen or less available as of right now on tonight's show. All right. It's an orange out. Don't forget, wear orange. That's the call. The call is to wear orange for the game. And we'll go from there. All right.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah, Ronald. Yeah, there you go, Ronald. There's a good prediction there. So, yeah. There, let me see if I got a few more score predictions there. Let me see. Marvin Allen. Defense gets 3 turnover and scores on 1. I like that. We'll see you, Tamara T, in the A. That's right. Gail, you're going to be watching from Cleveland, so we look forward to seeing you. All right.
There is a game zone, too, on game day, where the vendors and
Yeah.
So
okay.
So people can come out early Saturday. There is a game zone with vendors and food and all that good stuff. And you can come meet us. We'll be somewhere around there broadcasting live.
Yep. Make sure you're following the O&G StrikeZone on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. That's at O&G StrikeZone. Make sure you're following the Black Color Sports Network at MyBCSN1, the number 1. And, of course, you can watch and listen to all of the shows via the BCSN Pod Zone, everywhere you listen to podcasts. And so BCSN Pod Zone, everywhere you listen to podcasts. So that's going to do it for tonight's show. One more thing. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. The defending champs, we still number one, baby.
It's time to go. Thank you, Mike Ely, for joining us.
Thanks, Mike.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you giving that perspective there on your beloved Spartans. Marcus Green traveling to the A. For Kelvin Rosen,
to you too.
Traveling to the A. I will see everybody on Friday in the A. See you at Bullpen Barbecue and Ribs. We'll see you at the spot right across the street. Make sure you're following us, and we will see you then. Peace out, Rattler Nations. God bless everybody. Have a great game to our Lady Rattlers. Get over to the Lawson Center Friday, 4 o'clock if you can. Maybe the game will be streaming on Rattlers Plus. Check it out. Hopefully it will. So make sure you get your subscription set to Rattlers Plus. And shout out to everybody for watching and following the show. Share the show with your family. Keep building the network of O&G watchers. We need your support. We need your love. And thank you very much for watching. Bangs up. Strike again on those Spartans. We're out of here. Peace out.